Okay, so today we're gonna be making the screens for the windows. As I shown you in a previous episode, I installed the blinds myself and they were fairly easy. And now I want to replace the old screens that I've had for over 10 years. I never really replaced them. As you can see, there's like a bunch of holes on the screens. So they're old and I just wanted to replace them. When I went to Home Depot, I didn't realize that you have to make them yourselves. I thought if I just brought the old screens that they would just have the right size. Of course, I've never done this before, so they said that I just make them. So that's what I'm doing, right? I basically just got like 3 sets of these frames, and then I measured them.
Got 3 to do, so I got 3 of them. 1, 2, 3.
Once I got the right measurements, then I cut them. One thing to note though, before you cut these frames, is that you have to make sure that you have to put some leeway. So you're gonna have these pieces which are connectors for your frames, and you have to take that into account when you measure the frame length. So right here it'll show you that it just adds another 1/2 inch with the total length. So you just want to make sure you just want to make sure that you have that as well. You take that into account when you measure the whole length of each side before you cut them, because this will go inside right here, because that's going to add another 1/2 inch or so on each side. So I mean, at least on one side. You just want to make sure you measure it from here to the edge, like before you cut them. Otherwise your frame will be shorter, and you don't want to do that, right? Because especially if you only have 4 of them, then you'll be asked out. So right here, so you want to take these connectors into account prior to cutting the actual frame.
There we go. Some tools we need: cutter, tape, hacksaw.
You gotta measure.
Okay, once you get the right measurements, then you're ready to use hacksaw.
Once you've cut your frame, now you can connect them, which is what I started doing right here. So you just connect all 4 of them. The longer side is the one that's going to go on top. So whichever goes on top, you want to add these as well, these clips, prior to locking them, because what these clips do is it makes it more snug once you install them. It holds it in place. The actual frame, the window, when you're done, right? It holds it in place, and it allows you to kind of make it sort of tighter once you install it. You'll see once I put them on, but basically you want to make sure you put these clips in before you actually close them up. So it's going to be tighter up here, so on this frame, so it may not fit flush. So what I do is I try to squeeze it in a little, and then I use a hammer right here to close it up. Yeah, now it's nice and snug now. So you do it on both sides. This is the top frame, so don't forget the clips. Here, there's another one. So it's kind of tight. It still fits, but you want it to be flush. You use the hammer. See, and that's how you do it. So this is the top part of the frame, and now I'm gonna put the sides, right, which is gonna be much easier, just like that. I tried to do it on one of them and I forgot to put these plastic adjusters, but you don't really need them. That's why on one of my frames I don't really have them, but it helps you, you know, because once you try to install the frames, you won't have anything to hold once it's inside. And if you have this here, these clips, the plastic ones, are the ones will allow you to kind of adjust it and lift up your frame if you need to readjust it and move it and all that. But if you don't need them, then don't install them. For me, if I remember, I'll install them just because it's easier. But it's not a requirement to have this. See? So this is my frame right here. My frame. And then now I can install again these clips underneath down here if I wanted to before I put the actual screen, right? I'll probably do that right now. So here's the frame right here, as you can see, prior to putting the screen. What you do is you remove each of these rubber stoppers right here. You want to remove them, each one, prior to installing the screen. So once you removed these rubber things, now you can put the clips if you want to, and you basically just put them on each side. That's so. And usually, you know, you just kind of play with the measurements. I like to use my finger right here, and that's when I know just how far apart I want the plastic adjusters to be. So just like that. So you have that there, and then you put these, oh well, you could put these back on. Okay, so now that I have this frame ready to go and I remove these rubber things, I'm gonna measure the screen now before I install it. So you go ahead and spread out the screen like this, and once you got enough screen, just use the scissors to cut it. So there you go. So I got my screen right here. So usually everyone who installs the screen has like a roller, and I don't have that, so I'm just gonna do it like the ghetto way or the screwdriver way. Obviously, if you guys want to make it easy on yourselves, get the roller, but I don't have it, so I'm just making do with what I have, and I'm gonna show you how I do it. First thing I do is, I already have the screen, right? So I'm just gonna start putting the rubber that's gonna hold the screen in place. And so here, I'm just gonna use this to press down on the rubber to keep it in place. Yeah, it's gonna take longer to do it this way if you don't have the roller, but for me, I don't wanna buy the roller, so I'm just gonna do this. You guys decide what you want to do, but I'll just show you an alternative way or a cheap way to do it without having to buy the roller. It's just using the screwdriver right here. They're like a tiny screwdriver. So you just have to be patient and make sure that you want to be patient, make sure that your screen is flush so that when you start, you know, pressing down on the rubber right here, that it stays in place. I'm able to do both sides now. You can even put something in the middle to kind of hold it in place. But when you do both sides, you want to make sure you pull the screen so that you can kind of, you know, so that the screen will look more flush, right? Just pull it first before you tighten and insert the rubber pieces right here on both sides. Put something in the middle if you want, hold it in place, and then just pull it a little bit just to make sure that it's nice and snug before you actually insert the rubber pieces. So again, I don't have a roller, so I'm just using this piece right here. Yeah. And here all you do is you just tighten it like this. Yeah, you can use like a little screwdriver instead of a roller, but I guess I would recommend using the roller just because it's easier and it's going to be more flush when you make sure that each of the rubber pieces are tight. Because when I do this, it's harder, and then you have to do like slowly and make sure that each part of the rubber is tight, holding the screen, but you're not really sure if you have everything flush, right? If you have a roller, then you know, you just slide this way and make sure that everything is tight, so to speak. So I still recommend getting a roller if you can. I'm just doing it the cheap way, but you guys decide what you want to do. I could put small pieces because there's some edges where the rubber is not all the way flush, so I could put a little bit of pieces of that. And what I do is I just remove the rubber from here, this rubber, right? This rubber piece right here. I just put a little piece over here, right? And then I tighten it up just like that. Here as well, right here, you can see I put this piece right there, and then I just tighten it up. So now that I have it tight, what I want to do is I want to cut the excess screen off with a blade like this. So that's what I'm going to do. When you cut the excess, you want to cut it from in here, but make sure you're careful not to mess up the rubber part, just like right here, and then just start cutting right there. That's what you do. Move the excess in your frame. Now that I got my screen ready to go, it's time to take out the old one and install the new one. That's it. That's pretty much how you install it right there. So that's gonna do it for the 3 window screens that I've installed. Again, this is my first time, so if I can do it, anybody can. Till next time, stay safe and keep on rolling.